Shannon Sharp, lifelong diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, sitting here ready to painfully admit on national TV, that the Philadelphia Eagles are just a little better than my Cowboys right now. They just went right over the edge and over the top to get the edge on my Cowboys, because I don't just like all the moves they made. I love all the moves.
Oh yeah, the draft. I believe they hit it out the park with the draft.
I think they hit it out of the park with A.J. You realize that he is, by his own definition, the best friend of Jalen Hurts. Besties. They have thrown, according to A.J. Brown, together in the off seasons for the last 3, day after day. They have basically lived together through off seasons throwing. So you can't tell me he doesn't know Jalen Hurts' arm strength, or the way his ball spins, or the catchability of the footballs. You just can't tell me. Not under game conditions, obviously. No, nobody's covering. It's against air. But you can't tell me he doesn't know his accuracy level over lengthy workouts day after day after day. You can't tell me that he's going to be shocked during a game to find Jalen can't throw it. Because you are dangerously underestimating Jalen Hurts. You have from the start.
No, the numbers speak to Skip. The numbers bear it out.
Well, all of a sudden, you've got A.J. Brown, your best friend. You've got Devontae Smith, your teammate at Alabama.
Yeah, who was extremely frustrated. Do you remember what Devontae Smith did in the Tampa game? How he was stomping? Be like, I'm open, and he tried to wait till he was wide open, and it ended up getting picked.
Okay. And do not sleep on the Eagles' final draft pick, a second, 6th-round pick, Grant Calcaterra out of the University of Oklahoma, who retired 2 years ago because of concussions. He's going to give it a try. Trust me on this. He is a big, fast stud of a hybrid sort of Shannon Sharp. He's not Shannon Sharp, but he's
nice
more
tight end,
of you. He's a bigger, I don't even know what you call him. He's tight end-ish, but he's also got some wide receiver to him. And he can flat out go up and snatch it in the red zone. Kid out of California. So if they can revive him, he's very close with Jalen also. So all of a sudden you're surrounding Jalen with weapons who are friends of his. Good thing or bad thing? I'm going to go good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. Sometimes you can be too close, like Baker and Odell. They were supposed to be very close friends, and all of a sudden you're force-feeding Odell to a fault.
He's barely a 60% completion guy. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that.
Okay. Did they make the playoffs?
They did.
Okay.
They did.
Can you devalue that? Can you discount that?
Did you see what happened once they got to the playoffs? Now Skip,
they ran into the GOAT.
What does that got to do?
GOAT.
What does that got to do with him throwing the ball? Okay, if they lose, that's one thing. But what about his completion percentage? What about his ability to throw the football? At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. If you think that you can run your way to a championship, it's not going to happen. Skip, a quarterback that can run, a quarterback that runs is a liability. A quarterback that can run is an asset. Think about what I said. Don't let that go over your head at home. There's a difference between the two. Patrick Mahomes can run. He doesn't run. There's a difference. Some guys run. Other guys can run. Look at Josh Allen. Look at Mahomes. Look at Burrow. Look at Herbert. They can run, only under necessity.
All I know is I watched Jalen Hurts every snap under Lincoln Riley at the University of Oklahoma after he left St. Nick. Boy, he just threw the hell out of it all year long, and he only had one receiver. He had CeeDee Lamb or bust. They didn't even have a good number 2 that year.
There's a reason why guys struggle that come from the collegiate level to the NFL, because those guys are not going to be 5 yards wide open. You have to throw guys open. You have to have tremendous anticipatory skills, and that's what I'm looking for. A guy that can see it and anticipate it. Accuracy is the most important thing. The anticipatory skills is the most important thing. I don't care how strong your arm is. Montana didn't have a strong arm. Brady doesn't have a strong arm. You don't need to have Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen arms, but I need to have that accuracy. Can I get Joe Montana's accuracy? Can I get Tom Brady's accuracy? Can I get Aaron Rodgers' accuracy? Give me that. You take the strong arm. I'll let you throw the ball on one knee, 50 yards to hit the upright like Kyle Bowler, and I'll take Joe Montana that can probably only throw it about 45 yards, 50 yards maybe on a good day with a nice little 2-mile-an-hour wind behind him, and gonna pick you apart. Give me that guy.
I'll take Jalen Hurts. I never said he's going to make a Pro Bowl because I don't believe he ever will, but he will win a whole bunch of football games because he's a better Tim Tebow. He's a leader. He's a baller. He's a playmaker. He just makes plays. He lifted that team into the playoffs last year, and at least they got to the GOAT at the GOAT. And you can't discount it because that team had the makings of going places, and then all of a sudden you had Jordan Davis and then the steal of the draft into Kobe Dean and A.J. Brown.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, I'm looking at this. You didn't really lose much, and Hassan Reddick you added to the pass rush mix.
Oh, yeah.
You kept Derek Barnett, and you kept Fletcher Cox, and you kept Boston Scott. And I'm saying, even that Cam Jurgens, the center they took out of Nebraska, by all accounts, I don't know his game, but everybody says he's got Pro Bowl potential as a center. Well, all of a sudden, you got a loaded football team, and I keep waiting for Jerry to do something. And I can't defend the draft. And obviously, they lost Amari, and they lost Randy Gregory, and they cut Lyle Collins, and they lost Cedric Wilson. And what am I supposed to do with this? Dante Fowler, you got no use for him, right? Okay, so that's your big ad. And you kept DeMarcus Lawrence, and you kept Jaron Kearse, and you kept Dorrance Armstrong, and you kept Wolf Hunter, and you kept Carlos Watkins. Where are we going with this? That team, led by Dak Prescott, finished the year going 6-5 in their last 11 games. I can't defend it.
But Skip, head to head, you taking Jalen Hurts over Dak? I know you're out on Dak right now because like you mentioned, he went 6-5.
He's making $75 million, counting his bonus last year.
Yes,
it's hard to defend it. I told you. What was his record? I forget off the top of my head, 5-13, I think it was, in the stretch before he got paid. Because they just weren't very good. After those first 3 fireworks games, 4th of July games to start the, what would have been, 2019 season. Then he goes to contractual war with Jerry Jones, and you know the rest of the story. He crumbled down the stretch of that year. Then he crumbled to start the next year, and then he got hurt and suffered a career-threatening injury. Then he gets hurt in training camp, and he had a couple of good games early, and then I can't really defend the rest of the year. So I want to like him more. I hate to even talk about this, but I've told you from the start, I am an objective Cowboy fan. I know that can be an oxymoron when it comes to most people.
No,
but
y'all not objective.
Huh?
No, y'all not objective because you think every year y'all going to the Super Bowl, you go to the championship game.
Well, I don't think this team can go to the Super Bowl. I love last year's team. I thought the window was about that open, and then it slammed shut.
Yeah, because you said, well, I said, Skip, you're going to jinx them. This team is unjinxable.
I said that, and I loved it, and I believed in it, and trust me, Jerry Jones thought that was Super Bowl bound, and yet he had the audacity to sit there after the draft and say, this draft will have the same impact last year's will. Well,
where your Micah Parsons at?
Okay, I'm looking for a Micah, and I can't find a Micah. I don't know. Maybe he's lurking down there in the 4th round.
Jerry's delusional too.
Well, is he? Because he's been really good at the draft, but Micah just fell right in their lap. It was 11 from heaven, right? Because they wanted a corner, and when they struck out on actually 3 corners, they traded back 2 slots, and they got Micah Parsons at 12.
But, Skip, here's the thing. If you look at the guys that they get, normally they're top 15. You go back and look at Tyron Smith, you look at Zach Martin. I think Zach Martin might have been 16th. I think that's when they got him. But if you look at the...
That was the Manziel.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for Steven, basically putting his dad in the headlock and walking him out the room, he would have told Jared Manziel, Zach Martin would have been somewhere else.
Okay.
Skip, it gets harder as you get further down the draft to hit on the guys. I mean, Skip, it's harder to try. I don't want to say that it's easy, but it's a lot harder, Skip. You start picking in the 20s, and you're like, whew, okay. And that's what your guy had to do. He took the guy from Tulsa. Said he's mentally talented, he's a mauler, he has some great potential, has huge upside. Yeah, but I know one thing, he holds an awful lot.
And you led the league in penalties, and you drafted the one player who led all of college football in penalties.
Yeah.
That's like a Saturday Night Live skit, right? I mean, it's either going to make you laugh or cry, right?
I do believe the Eagles are better, and I don't know if the Cowboys will sweep them like they did last year. But I'm still taking Dak
Remember, the
Prescott.
Cowboys swept them because the last game, Philly played its practice squad.
Yeah, even if they don't play their practice squad, I don't know if they can beat the Cowboys. I don't know if Dak throws 5 touchdowns and has a 90 whatever QBR, what QBR grade that he has. It might have been 100 the way he was throwing the ball on them. I don't believe they do that, but I still believe they probably would have beaten the Eagles. But I don't think the Eagles have surpassed them. It's going to be very interesting to see how A.J. Brown reacts halfway through the season if his numbers are not reflective of what he thought they would be.
Okay. Football above basketball, baseball, hockey. Football is a unity game.
Oh, yeah.
You know this better than anybody.
Yeah.
It's a unified, united locker room.
Yeah.
It's how you win championships. I just believe that locker room is going to be closer, starting with an ultimate leader in Jalen Hurts, than this locker room will be. And yesterday, I had to read quotes from the one player that I kind of like in the draft, which is Jalen Tolbert, the kid out of South Alabama, the receiver. And again, I wish he were a slot receiver. I wish he were more of a Sky Moore like Kansas City took, where you could say, well, he fits into what they don't, replace Cedric Wilson. But he's a big talker, and that's the kid Dak called before the draft because they'd already inked him in as we're going to take him in the 3rd round. And he starts talking about, I can't wait to get down there and help change the culture. And I'm thinking, you're at South Alabama? What do you know about the Cowboy culture?
Hey, that's my point. How are you going to